In this part of the lecture, we are going to see on how interest rate swaps can be used to alter payment or receipt from floating to fixed or vice versa. In this example, the firm would like to alter their payment from floating rate to fixed rate. The company issues a bond and need to pay periodic coupon payment to the bondholder. So this will be regarded as payment for the company, or it's a liability. The coupon rate is CLIBOR plus 0.5%. This will be considered as floating rate because the rate will change over time as CLIBOR rate changes. So that's why it's being regarded as a floating rate. Therefore, in order to alter the payment from floating to fixed, the company could enter into a swap contract in which they will receive CLIBOR and pay 6% to the counterparties. In this case, the floating rate liability will be converted to fixed rate liability. In this diagram, you can see that any money inflow is noted by inward arrow and money outflow is noted by outward arrow. So since this company issued a bond, so there will be a money outflow with CLIBOR plus 0.5%. So when the company enters into a swap, they will pay 6% and they will receive CLIBOR from the counterparty. So the net payment for the company will be CLIBOR plus 0.5% plus 6% minus CLIBOR. So the net payment is now 6.5%. So this company has converted its floating rate payment into fixed rate payment, which is from CLIBOR plus 0.5% to 6.5% after they enter into a swap contract. Let's now look at this example. For this example, Company A issue a fixed rate bond and they need to pay 6.2%. So the company can alter the payment from fixed rate to floating rate by entering into a swap contract. In the swap contract, the company will receive 6% and need to pay CLIBOR. Please pause the video and try to find the net payment for Company A in this case. You need to give the answer when you fill in your attendance form later. Let's now look for an example when Company A would like to alter their receipts from floating to fixed. Company A buys bond or become the bondholder. So in this case, they will receive periodic coupon payment from the bond issuer. So this will be regarded as receipts for the company or an asset. In this case, the coupon payment that they will receive is CLIBOR minus 0.5%. So in order to convert their receipts in the form of floating rate to fixed rate, they will enter into swap contract which will receive 6% and they need to pay CLIBOR. In this case, they will convert the floating rate asset into fixed rate asset. From this example, you can see that Company A will receive CLIBOR minus 0.5% coupon payment from the bond issuer. When the company enters into a swap contract, they will pay CLIBOR and will receive 6% from the swap counterparty. The net receipts in this case will be CLIBOR minus 0.5% minus with CLIBOR plus 6%. And then the net receipts is 5.5%. As you can see, Company A has converted their receipts from floating, which is CLIBOR minus 0.5%, to fixed rate, which is 5.5%. Now let's look at the next example. Pause the video and try to find the net receipts for Company A in this case. You need to give the answer when you fill in your attendance form later. In the previous example, we only focused on either receipts or payment. Financial intermediaries like banks will have a lot of cash inflows and outflows, which make them very vulnerable towards interest rate risk. In this example, Citibank money inflow is from the loans and housing mortgages at 12%. Meanwhile, the money outflow is the issuance of floating rate deposits from the customer at CLIBOR minus 1%. The net receipt for Citibank will be the money inflow minus with the money outflow, which is 12% minus with CLIBOR minus 1%, or in this case will be 13% minus CLIBOR. For example, if CLIBOR is 11%, the profit spread for Citibank will be 2%. Therefore, in this case, we know that Citibank is subject to interest rate risk because the net receipts for the company depended on the rate of CLIBOR. Let's now look at this diagram. So as you can see, without swap, for Citibank, the money inflow is 12% and the money outflow is CLIBOR minus 1%. So the net receipts become 13% minus CLIBOR. Therefore, in order to mitigate the interest rate risk, Citibank could enter into a swap contract in which they will pay 6% and will receive CLIBOR from the swap counterparty. So in this case, the net receipts become 13% minus CLIBOR plus with CLIBOR and minus with 6%. So the net receipts for Citibank now become 7%, which is fixed rate as compared to before, which their net receipts is a floating rate.